The following program contains violence, disturbing imagery, nudity, and, oh my God, why are you even watching this? Just run away. This shit is going to give you nightmares. For real. Nightmares where you are running naked on a treadmill made of razor blades, and your third grade teacher is pointing and laughing at you. And even if you survive the treadmill with your feet intact, she is going to tell you that you flunked the third grade, which negates all the rest of your achievements. The program is rated TV MA NSFW OMFG GAF TTV BYGAS. It is unsafe for epileptics. It kills lab rats. Why are you still here? This show came out of the dark recesses of a coked-up guy's mind who has just been given too much privilege and access and now just takes a depraved delight in disturbing and scaring you. In fact, if we're being totally honest here, the original creator never expected a third season pickup, so now he's just trying to think of creative ways to kill the characters off. Seriously, don't watch this. We can't warn you strongly enough. Do you need a doctor of some kind? What is the matter with you?
Black Creek for playing. That was awesome. Wild Cries playing after this. All right. You people want to rock and roll? Ah, come on. You want to rock and roll? I got it written on my hand. Come on. This is some brand new stuff by Steel Kingdom. It's called Isolation.
Buy this guy a drink, right?
a little bit of Steel Kingdom as introduced by Uncle Slosh himself. That was literally handed to me about 11 minutes ago by Brother Judah. He shot me a text. He's like, hey, by the way, Slosh really loved this. Put this in the show. And I'm just like, well, you better move that ass, man. So I apologize. I didn't get a chance to run it through any of the digital filters and clean it up, but I'm going to make it a point of that to kind of archive that and keep it as a memory for all those that love Slosh. And we'll talk more about that, and Judah will give us a little bit more details because he ran with him for quite some time. They did the Rock the Rock show over at WRFZ for many years back in the day. And this is just part of the history. Myself, Ed Contini, been working with Brian now on a lot of the different programs, not only Rock the Rock, but my Music and Magic show, Ed's Over the Edge, and then the new show that we just started Friday mornings, The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly. Yes, I am the ugly. But let me get those things out of the way real quick. The views, expressions, thoughts, opinions, language, etc., insanity is mine and mine alone. Unless it comes from Judah, then it's his. You can send him the hate mail. Take what you need, leave the rest behind. There's comedy, there's music, there's, a lot of stuff that we wrap in. And for those of you who don't know, in the Rochester, New York area, the show is going to be, a little bit focused on the backyard. Slosh Fest 2024 is going to be April 14th, 1 to 7 p.m. over at the Iron Smoke Distillery there in Fairport, right around the corner. It's going to be a lot of really great bands. We're going to talk about some of them, but special shout out to Iron Smoke for having us and to all the bands participating. So I'm going to get Brother Judah on the horn in a couple of minutes, see what kind of fuckery we can get into. See, I'm going to unleash him because, he is the good within the good, the bad, and the ugly, always trying to do things for folks. And, he has a very specific, smooth style that he has done, whereas I'm definitely a lot edgier, and Ed he's fucking angry. You know what I mean? He just brings the bad, but it's such a delicious, well-prepared bad. But the language part, and I talk a lot about this, and I've been talking about it. I'm going to continue to talk about it. The FCC says we can't do these things on FM radio because, the world may fucking end. Well, ask those poor souls who were just driving over a bridge in Maryland how, the world doesn't work that way. And all joking aside, my condolences and sympathy to anybody's family caught up in that horrible tragedy. But what it does reflect that in any given fucking moment in time, a fucking cargo carrier crashes into a bridge and brings the whole fucking thing down like a fucking Lego set. So language, I think, to at least the bigger degree, is not our fucking problem. Okay? That's not say, we're going to, throw some hateful shit out there or just be assholes about it. But listen, we can't have an honest conversation. What's the point of having the fucking conversation? Language is what it is. A lot of people before us fought hard. We're going back to the days of guys like Lenny Bruce, who really, he took one for the team. Musicians went through it. Guys like, Frank Zappa and others. Hell, even John Denver came out and said, you know what? This is ridiculous. But that's a conversation for another time. So tonight's going to be focused on Rochester area music, myself, people like Deb Magoni. We're going to have a little bit of Days End, Brian Judah's band, one of their tracks. We're going to have a track from Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. He's going to be one of the bands that are going to be playing over there. I'm also going to have a new track coming in. And let me because I want to make sure I got this name correct. Yeah, Side Eye, Possibilities. I played Witchy Ways last night. Really cool track. This one is really good as well, too. And I got a new Hollowell track, Fallen, which is really great job. If you're listening out there, great job. Looking forward to the rest of the album. So, we're going to keep it focused in how tonight. And that said, I'm going to get Brother Judah on the horn. We're going to explore the legacy of Uncle Slosh, some of the comedy, get Brian to say all the bad words that he can't say on WRFZ. Gonna squeeze it out of him. Squeeze. So yeah, we're gonna have some fun with it. So while I go get him on the horn, we're gonna pop it off and we're gonna go here. Slide it on down. Dun, 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 dun. Bump, 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 bump. Yes, Days End. Here we go. It's a little track of theirs called Your Maker. It's from a few years ago, but really cool band. Seen him a few times. You know, Judah isn't just our friend and co-worker / partner in evil. You know, he's a great musician as well, too. So a lot of cool things coming down the pike. So again, sit back for a little Days In, and then we'll be back with Brother Judah live and see where the dice roll.
Falling into your cage, no way to break free. The fight is over, you're controlling me. Held against my will is the hardest thing to take until it's done. Leaving this world, a new life has just begun. Has just begun. Believing is the only way to begin. Standing before your maker, you win or lose. Make it count, the decision that you choose. Standing before your maker, what can you do? Stand and be judged, you deserve what is given to you. Standing before your maker, you win or lose. Make it count, the decision that you choose.
All right, so yeah, we're back live. I got Brother Judah on the horn. He was laughing at his music in the background because he can do that. You can get away with that shit.
That's Days End. You know, we did that. We 2004 into 05. So we're talking 20 years ago. You know.
Listen, it still holds water 20 years later, man. You know me. I'd be the first to tell you, if it was a piece of shit, I'd be like, listen, I love you, man, but you need to flush that. But nah, it's solid stuff. Especially for the time too. Most people, again, you and I were coming through some of those different cycles within rock music, what was considered progressive, what was considered alternative. So you guys kind of, were there when it was really happening. You dig where I'm going?
Yeah. That a lot of that record, you listen to more of it. I can still listen back today, and we listen back now, and there's we still play that song out live, Your Maker, so that's one that we still do. We like it, and it still holds well, But as we go through and we visit these songs, we often say to ourselves, what the fuck were we thinking? And
there it
came
is.
Up with these parts. When we came up with these parts of these songs, what were we thinking? I mean, just simply because we layered all these different parts together, and we delved in a lot of different things, and a lot of our songs were a little longer. They were a little more on the 5-6 minute mark and all that.
Well, listen, even 5-6 minutes by some standards, it's tame, considering a lot of folks were going into the 11-12 minute plus. By the way, the audience is reacting. I like catching this stuff real time because I don't think most people have ever heard you swear. So, yes, yes, they want the fucks. They want all the fucks you have to give, man. Dude, like my hairs are standing in, and I'm like, come to the dark side.
There's no dark side.
There is a dark side. Well, I mean, if we ask Ed has some very definitive boundary lines on, different. What is dark and what is not.
Well, yeah, he's dark, and yes, he can go. He can swear with the best of them all.
Oh, yeah. And some of our Sunday Fun Days have definitely been deep into, not safe for children type conversations.
Probably not. No.
No, well, I mean, listen, when you start off the day over there with, Daisy trying to hump Walker, and then, Diane sneaks up behind Ed with a stick of pepperoni with that look in her eyes, and you can see the fear on the man. He knows it's coming.
Yes.
It's International Women's Month, so he has no defense against it. And You know, that's why we love him.
Around his fucking house, you know, a little bit scared.
I know he's listening right now. He's like, those fuckers.
Yes, just you know, what's going to be around the corner for me? It's like a haunted house in some ways, you know, like not like haunted in terms, but it's
like an amusement park.
Fun house.
Right. You never know what you're going to get into when you come around the corner.
Yes, we call it a fun house, I guess. Yeah, it is a fun house. Actually.
And your wife, Attivia, definitely she can roll with the best of them. She will just,
my God,
she will just come out of left field and she'll just be like fuckity fuck, and we're all just like, wow.
Yes. Oh yeah. A few weeks ago on the on her yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Oh no, listen, that was a lot of fun, and we're gonna do more of this stuff. Don't get me wrong.
I enjoyed that. I listened to the whole thing, and it was awesome. She backed up a point. She always does. Though.
Oh, she's incredibly intelligent. You know, so it's not like, you know, she's just coming out there like, you know, talking the stupid shit. She actually has a lot of experience and perspective, but she also has that raw edge that, you know, she's not going to sugarcoat it, and she spent too much of her life, by her own words, catering to other people's perceptions. So she's come around the corner. She's been like, you know what? I paid my dues. Fuck it. And that's refreshing. I think it's beautiful personally. And I know you feel the same way as well too. We sometimes get constrained, especially within the elements of what we do on the radio station, because, you know, we can't have that kind of language. We can't really go into some of those darker, off, you know, over the edge elements, as Ed would call them, because, you know, the FCC, it's just like, you know, we're going to punish you, and nobody wants to be punished by the FCC. No. I mean, it's just no fun.
No, but I think, you know, and you know, perfect talking about that. I think that's a big, you know, I think that early on when she met Uncle Slosh, the late great Uncle Slosh, I think that's how they hit it off, really. You know what I mean? Because they were right from the start. They, you know, if you get her laughing and just, you know, just being able to talk the way she wants to and say whatever she wants, and she could do that with Uncle Slosh. You know what I mean? It was fucking beautiful to watch. You know,
Deb said a very similar thing, that he was always very open with his language, but not in an ugly kind of hurtful way. You know what I mean? And that takes skill. You know what I mean? Yes. That's not just something most people can dance on that line, because it's usually an emotional reaction. You know what I mean? You know, somebody pissed in your beer and you're like, fuck, you know what I mean? And, you know, you lose your fucking mind. Whereas I think, again, from everybody that I've encountered, and I came into the scene literally on, you know, the anniversary of his death, you know, that first Slosh Fest show, Pineapple Jacks last year. So unfortunately for me, I only have other people's memories and experience and, you know, photos and things like that. And let me tell you, some of those photos are great. You know, I'm actually going to start off one of those. I know you won't be able to see it, but I'll talk you through it, because I do have some questions on it. And like,
you can always have questions. Yeah. Anything dealing with Uncle Slosh in a picture. Seriously,
this first one, okay, it's just, he's got a Corona in his hand, he's got his arm around you, he's got the horns. You're wearing an adrenaline shirt with the vest, and you've got that, you know, Dr. Demento mustache thing going.
Yep.
And the look on your face suggests that there was some dialogue literally at the fucking moment that this picture was taken. And I just imagine, you know, Slosh looks like he's having a real good time. So I don't know if he like whispered in your ear and he's like, dude, we're going to fuck a goat and raise Satan. And your eyes just go, what? And your mouth opens like, what? Or he was just like, listen, I shit myself, pretend like it didn't happen. And you just, the look on your face is just so iconic. Do you remember that moment? Is there actually a story?
Is it the one at Pineapple Jacks? Or no?
I don't know what the background is. It's just you have your mouth open, your eyes look like, again, Slosh just definitely shifted your reality.
Was it the one? Is Otavia in the picture?
No, it's just you and Slosh. He's holding the Corona.
Okay.
You've got the mustache, and again, the look on your face suggests that there's more to this picture.
I get to see a picture to know. Shoot, I wish I could see it.
Well, listen, Otibia is probably hanging out down there watching. Go take a look, because the picture's right up on the screen. So
yeah,
that's the beauty of doing this live. It's hysterical when you look at it.
I can't take the elevator down the stairs. It'd take too long.
Yeah, you got that heavy fucking commute.
Yeah, no, but anything usually with me and Uncle Slosh was, we just had a good time, and Uncle Slosh, he was that, and that's why so many people loved Uncle Slosh, because he would drink, like back in the day when he was really, having a good time out there, he would have a fucking, whole pitcher of beer, but he wasn't that drunk that was a jerk. He was a drunk that was, well, not a drunk, but he had a good time when he was out at a show. He would just talk with everybody and just have a great time. He wasn't a jerk. He was just very open with everybody and just having a good time. And that's why everybody loved him, because when he was at a show, he just loved watching metal music. But he was definitely a breed of his own.
But listen, he was a product of his times. You and I both came up in different degrees within the rock and metal scene of the time. And it kind of, the sex, drugs, and rock and roll analogy wasn't too far off the mark. So it was just like metal and beer. Fuck it, man. That's what was happening Friday night. So he just kind of, reflected it in his own way.
Well, here's the thing about Uncle Slosh. A lot of people don't know. I mean, well, first of all, Uncle Slosh is a hero. I mean, he served our country, and he started off. He did. He went in the services. He's done a lot. He'd been in over at the end of Vietnam, so he had gone through that stuff a little bit toward the end of that. And then he served, continued serving, and he actually had, short hair. He wasn't the Uncle Slosh with the long hair that so many people know. I mean, if anything more, he showed me a couple pictures. He looks more like Vanilla Ice at some point.
Well, somewhere along the line, something happened, like, he caught the flu, or...
So he got out of the services, right? And he always loved heavy metal, but when he got out of the services, he really, really, he really dug, listening to some of that fucking Metallica, and just some of that heavy stuff that started to come out for him just changed everything for him. I mean, he was a Pink Floyd guy before and still loved Pink Floyd and all that, but
you can't mosh pit to Floyd. That first Metallica album was just all your anger just set free.
He wasn't a big mosher, though. He loved to bang his head, but he wasn't a mosher. You weren't going to see him in the pit, He just wasn't that.
No, he was the guy that liked to watch everybody else act like assholes in the pit.
that he enjoyed, but he wouldn't. He himself wouldn't get engaged in those things, but he'd be out there rocking his head off, and bopping his head around. So he's still. I mean, he always just loved. The man loved loud music. He just he reveled in it. I mean, he would get the cops called, right? At his, we would always go to his trailer. He had a trailer out in Kendall, out in the Kendall area. But this, his fucking parties were awesome. First of all, he'd always have an anniversary party for him in Maryland. But even before that, though, the man would just, he would get the cops called because he'd be cranking his music so loud that people a block away could hear him die, by Dope. And he literally would crank it as high as he can go with it. And he had a fantastic stereo in his trailer, but he would play.
Listen, he's the guy that these movies were made about, like Dazed and Confused. You know what I mean? That he captured the spirit of life. You know what I mean? Because everything again that I saw from other people and the way they talked was that not only was he incredibly humble, but he was just really, in the moment. A lot of people aren't in the moment; they're caught up in all these other things and blah blah blah.
he just wanted to have a good time, and he wanted the people around him to have a good time. And he was, very influential in helping to push the music scene. I'm going to go to this next picture, and I know you'll know this one. This was from one of the original promos from WRFZ for the Rock with Judah and Uncle Slosh. Without local bands, there would be no national bands.
Oh yeah, always. I mean, that's how everything started. That's how we, that's how we're even on WRFZ, is because I had the Ripper, I had the Ripper radio and a metal station. I had a heavy metal station, internet station for a decade, almost 12 years, and it was, and when I became acquainted a little bit more with Uncle Slosh, well, actually we hung out together all the time back in I would say between 2005 and 2011, always going to a ton of metal shows. Steel Kingdom, always go to Steel Kingdom. Our boys, Sean Williams, rest in peace for Sean, because man, he was one guy too as well, just like Uncle Slosh, where you could hang with this dude and really just have a really nice time with him. Another guy that would drink a lot, but he'd not, he wouldn't be a jerk at all. He was cool. You can hang out with him, and boy, he was, those two were a peas in a pod. They really got along fantastically, and it was just something to behold. Those two, they just had a kinship. Those two, and then Uncle Slosh, people, the next thing that he really got known for, him and his buddy Paul would film all these metal shows. They really would. They would be in the crowd and they would film these shows, and they would give them copies of them. This is at a time when they didn't really charge. They didn't charge anything for them. Sometimes they got tips and all that from the bands, but him and Paul would literally set up a professional extrememusic.com that's still out there. Extreme Music, and him and Paulie would film all these metal bands. This was going all the way back to early 2000s, and probably before that. This is how Uncle Slosh really, cut his teeth with local music, because so many, great musicians in our area, he would film them, and they all saw him, and just, his demeanor, and they just, he goes all the way back to Bucks days, he hung around with the guys in Bucks and all that, and just, the guy was just, very cool.
It set the stage for what you guys were doing at the radio station, because again, the narrative became to give local bands airplay, to give them promotional support and everything that went along with it, which you and I both know, even still to this day, doesn't happen for the local scene. Most commercial radio is the same thing over and over and fucking over again. So,
yes.
He really, he took the old school dynamic, not only of the college radio stations, but of early FM radio, and said, hey, we can do that here and support our own local scene. And, Rock to Rock now is going on, 7 years, 6 years?
Actually 8.
8 years.
On,
nice.
We're in the middle of 8 years going on now. And again, it started again because he had a vision of what he wanted to do. He had a vision of because he loved another Uncle Roger was the originator of just actually before that, it's Kevin DeHaan, a good friend of mine, actually was one of the first he was a program director. And at the moment, I just forget the station, but it was an old FM station. And he was one of the first ones to kind of say, we got to play local music. We got to play some local, So, but then again, after that, Uncle Roger on CMF, he really took, his show to another level in terms of bringing on local musicians and all that. That's where really, the homegrown show, that's really where things get started from a local standpoint. And Uncle Slosh was one of the few non-musicians that were on Uncle Roger's show, because of all the filming that he did of a lot of shows. Uncle Roger brought him on, and I think that's what I think he kind of took on to that. He really enjoyed. He hung out with Uncle Roger once in a while. And I think he wanted to pass, be able to pass that along, because we really don't get in this area, so much said, they just want to play the same fucking,
Yeah, listen, I was having a
Tom
conversation.
Petty. I mean, how many times are you going to hear
Can you
those
hear
same
the same
songs
shit all over? Listen, I was talking with a guy earlier in the week that's redoing an older band that used to be in the area, and we were just bullshitting back and forth. And, he made the commentary. We've talked about it. It's not that covers are bad.
No,
I
not
give credit to people, you do them as well to different degrees, but one of the things that makes you different, I think, than a lot of others is you play shit that you just don't expect anybody else to play, like Zebra. You know what I mean? I was just like, yes.
No, that is a big part of, yeah. I mean, I've always sort of wanted to do more things than just the usual stuff. I've always said, and not that I ever have a problem with this, but if you ever catch me playing, Bob Seger's old time rock and roll, I'm fucking done. Seriously. I'm going to fucking retire because that's, I'm sorry. I love the song. It doesn't mean it just, for me, it just has this signal that, all right, it's time to step aside.
Maybe we've gone too far down the rabbit hole.
Old rock club, like the old, where, again, I don't know. I just, that's one of the songs that I don't know. As much as I can listen to it if I want, but I don't want to play it.
There are different tastes for different situations. We were joking a couple of weeks ago on one of the shows, about yacht rock. You know what I mean? that there's so many different labels, and people are into different things. So
yeah,
this post-pandemic world, I think, the surviving clubs and bars and stuff, they're looking for people to come in and, spend money. So they don't give a shit and this is what happens in every local music scene. It doesn't matter if it's Rochester or Buffalo or New Orleans or Brooklyn or, Atlantic Highlands, that, things come and go in cycles. So for right now, it's going to be the cover bands, and then people will get tired of it. And then all of a sudden there'll be a push for the original bands. And you and I know that, again, some of the original bands that we have locally here are really great. You look at Hollowell, you look at Side Eye, you look at what JJ's doing with, Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. That there are many examples of that aspect being alive still. And again, we've talked about it. It's harder to get gigs if you're doing just original music, but that's one of the things that we've been changing as well too, is to actually produce shows, which I know was something that, you felt strongly about. And we all kind of agreed that, hey, if we're going to do this, we really need to help support the foundation of it, because it's great to, put it on the radio and it's great to promote it. But if there's no opportunity for these bands to play, you see where I'm going, you don't really get to capture them for what they are, because you're a live musician. You like doing recorded music, but you shine when you're on stage. I mean, you become a completely different fucking dude. You know what I mean? You go into mode, and I do it. A lot of us do it.
I don't know where, I don't know where it comes from, but it is one thing that I love fucking being on stage. I really do. I love it.
There's a certain magic to it.
Yeah. I've never really gotten too nervous as long as I know my parts, and all that. Everyone gets a little nervous, I think, as a musician, if you're not confident in the song. If it's this newer song you're working on, and you want to make sure you get all the parts, maybe, But
listen, there's always lots of things that happen that have nothing to do with musical ability or the band per se. You got a shitty sound system. And nobody can hear what the fuck is going on. So, it's like the Beatles playing Shea Stadium. It's just a fucking blur. You do your best to get through it, but, sometimes it just is what it is.
So many people do not know that the struggle that sometimes live musicians have, that they don't show, you know what I mean? And that's one of the things, certainly, is a good mix coming at you. If you can't hear other parts, it can be it could be a chore, but when everything's working well, oh my God, it's fucking magic. It really
Yes, it is.
It's
Yes, it
it
is.
truly is magical, when everything's working right and the sounds good and everybody's playing well. It really is. That's what you do. I think as musicians, I think what we enjoy is just everybody. There's a chemistry that comes off, and then everybody's feeding off that, and then so it's just a good thing, when everything's going well. But there's a lot of times though where people don't realize it. As a band, you're going through some things listening that, or if you can't hear, but
Oh, listen, timing is everything. So if you don't hear that shift, you're fucked.
Yeah, but here's the thing that a lot of musicians have to remember, and I think all the fans would agree if they're listening out there, is like, nobody cares, At the same time, you want to have this. I think we put too much pressure on ourselves as musicians. I think we want to be so perfect all the time, and note for note. Yes, we do, but I don't think that everybody's looking for that. That moment that for somebody to mess up. You know what I mean?
No, nobody wants to be the person that goes on stage and shits themselves in front of a live audience.
But at the same time, we worry about those small little things. But you know what? As long as we entertain the people, I think that's the main thing.
Well, it's reflective of the process. I mean, I go through the same thing like you. I go and I look at what I've done. I'm like, I could have done that differently. I could have done this. And it's a never-ending cycle. I think that's part of the human condition. But you're right, to some degrees, and we've seen it play out. We'll know, like, okay, we lost a beat here, or somebody played a B instead of a B flat. But the rest of the crowd's like, woo, they don't have a clue what the fuck may or may not have actually happened versus what it is inside, the little bubble when you're actually performing on stage. Because there is a separation. You have to some degrees, unless you become completely distracted. Some people can handle it, don't get me wrong. I've seen a lot of front guys that can work an audience and can just dance in and out. I'm not one of them. I lock into the music, and that's what I do.
Sure.
So, some of it is relevant to the person.
Yes.
We're gonna cut to a quick track.
Sure.
We're gonna start it off. We played yours, so I'm gonna go over here. I'm gonna pull Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners, because they will be performing. And this is their
JJ,
new.
again, I had the pleasure of playing with him.
JJ's been a big part of this
and we just
scene for years.
We create a lot of great music together, and there was some good certainly good some great times.
And special shout out to Joey Servideo. He corrected me on the pronunciation of his name. He and I had a cool little chat yesterday before my Monday night show. Real humble guy.
And I sometimes forget he certainly was on our show. Because we had that same thing. It's Servideo.
Yes. It's just
almost think of it like Servideo.
That's what I did. I actually did a little joking monologue. I thought that was cool. It's like, I'm going to get my buddy Tony to make him one of those green and black patches like the one I wear on my vest, and it's just going to say Servideo. Because everybody's got to have a cool biker name, and his fits within his last name. So, I mean, he's got the best of both worlds.
Yes. And I won't forget Scott fucking Palingrim.
Scotty P. Yeah, no, listen, he's a cool guy. I want to get him on a couple things I want to hit him with. So I don't want to throw him under the bus per se. You know what I mean? Because I'm not sure how far he wants to go. Because listen, we live in a world where sometimes it's not easy to talk openly. People are afraid. If you say the wrong thing, am I going to get canceled? You know what I mean? People going to hate me. Now, you know me. I'm just like, more haters, better. Come on, bring it on. I got lots of room for it. But not everybody is as comfortable within that dynamic. So sometimes it's a fine line. He does a lot of work with the Rochester Rock Brigade, and he's also really active in promoting and helping the scene here in town. He's the guy behind Stoned and Free, which is going to be the Jimi Hendrix tribute band, also playing at Slosh Fest. Unfortunately, because, again, the subtleties of what we can get away with here online, we can't play Jimi Hendrix, to give you an example, nor could we get away with playing a Jimi cover because they're just so uptight now. They're like, hey, we can squeeze a fucking penny out of them.
Well, a lot of people don't know, but for a long time you couldn't even find some Jimi Hendrix on YouTube. Like, I don't know, like lately it's been coming up a lot easier, but back when I used to try to find a Jimi Hendrix song on YouTube, I don't know what they did, but somehow Jimmy's family figured out a way not to have you be able to find anything that like Jimmy did. Like you could find
but
like
everybody wants to fucking get paid. So, you know, we have all these pay services now and stuff, and, you know, music rights are, pretty much owned by 3 companies. And, you know,
Kiss was that way for a little bit. I mean, there's certain things. Okay, so if you go and you look for a Kiss song, right, and you go to their actual, you won't be able to download it. It's not going to let you do it. But if you go, you borrow some, use somebody else's, some other user on YouTube and do it, then you can do it. But there are a few out there that are like, no, you're not downloading you're not taking my stuff. You know what I mean? And it's always the bigger ones.
Which is ironic, because we made our mixtapes back in the day off of FM radio. We would record them and then fucking share them out. So listen, we
gotta let you play the JJ's new song. Is Brother Floyd, right? The Blessed Sinner.
Yeah, we're gonna play Bleeding Cowboy. Take a quick break, come back, and we'll dance further into this. So yeah, here's a brand new track again. Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. They will be performing again, Slosh Fest. So sit back and enjoy a little bit of JJ Lang.
Yep, nice.
Out
Oh, yeah, little bleeding cowboy from Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. Got my brother Judah still here with me. We were talking a little bit during the track about the dynamics of profanity and how sometimes it's reflected culturally and sometimes it's reflected of the times. But he brought up an interesting segue, so we're going to have some fun. We're going to try and do something I've never done before.
Oh, you've never done this?
No, I've never done a three-way like this. I've done other three-ways, but not quite like this. No, this is all joking aside, there's a little bit of jump in the element of technology of being able to route this. So we're going to have some fun with them. See if we can get them in. Ah, here, yep, it's ringing. Now, knowing him, his phone is probably in the bathroom somewhere, floating in the bottom of the toilet bowl.
Oh. Hello.
Hey, man, what the fuck's going on?
You know what?
Where the fuck are you, man?
Know.
Where the fuck are you?
I am. I'm in the place where I live. I'm in the living room.
You're in the living room.
Yeah.
Is Daisy?
Where the fuck are you?
We're fucking in the ether, man. I got somebody that's got he's got a question for you. He thinks that profanity.
Oh, wait a minute. I'm getting feedback. Hang on.
See, he's trying to listen to the show and talk to us.
No, I wasn't trying to. That's the technology bullshit. It wouldn't shut off. Fuck that technology.
Fuck that
Take
technology.
it over the world. What technology?
Hey, listen, we got Judah with us, and he feels that the profanity is an Italian thing. Now, because you're both Italian and Polish, you're the only guy we can really go to in this moment. So help us out here.
Fuck, man. That's culturally inappropriate. Just because man, I am Italian.
Listen, come on, man. Your wife is the angry one here. Just be the bad. That's what we need you for right now.
Despite rumors, she is not prone to violence.
Yeah, but still, is it an Italian thing?
Of course it is.
So how is it? How is it bad if it's true? Judah, you're awfully quiet. Get in here, man. This is your fucking fault.
I was happy. I heard him say "fuck" a couple of times, at least some derivation of "fuck." It is good. It could be used in many different ways. It could be an adjective, an adverb, a noun. It can be good, bad, or in between. It's a fucking. It is the ultimate utility word.
Okay, so I think I have Judah. You with us?
I just heard it. I heard about already this fucking guy already with his, he can't even work a printer. Just kidding.
No, listen, you come over and you could fix it. One of you, because I'm not even doing it, because I'll fuck it up, throw it, break it, and not.
I know you don't have very much patience. You don't.
I got a lot of patience. I got a lot of patience. A lot of patience.
Yeah. Like you've helped a lot of patients.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, I had a lot of patience in my time. Yes, I did. Yes, no.
Patience. That other patience is two different words. Same word but two different meanings.
And that's the beauty of the fucking language, isn't it?
Oh, this is so deep in the Contini context. It's not unlike that pepperoni that Diane was going to shove in your ass, but probably much more enjoyable.
I don't think I would be a patient.
No.
Me? No. Excuse me, not at all. No. Listen, language is important. Is, as I like to say, muy importante. And I get yelled at every time I say stuff like that around my house. I'm only allowed to speak English.
Really? Says who?
Yeah. To Walker.
So you're having conversations with the dog now?
True story. I woke up the other morning and guess the temperature in my house was 55 degrees and fucking Walker is chattering his teeth. Looking at me, chattering his teeth.
Standing at the foot of the bed, chattering.
I think I would have been too. I would have been chattering my teeth too at 55.
Yeah, that's a bit chilly there, buddy.
Yeah, now when
what's your electric bill, like $2? Yeah,
well, we have gas heat, and that's almost.
They come back. They come
they come like the paper boy. Hey, you owe us $2 for the gas and electric. You only turned it on a couple times.
Hey, go ahead, collect.
Yeah, it's like fuck around and find out.
Yeah,
Anyway.
I just show him the picture of his house and where he lives and the schedule for the school bus, and everything's good.
All right, well, let's keep it on. What were we talking about? What we want to bring them on about language or what?
Yeah.
Within the Italian dynamic, was there a difference between the Polish end and the Italian? Because Brian, he was talking.
I don't know. I don't think we use profanity, but I don't think we dropped as many F-bombs as Italians do, and I think that it seems to be and I've heard it before. It's used sort of as
hey, fuck you!
A chain word, like you can word it. You can throw anything. Look at that fucking guy, or look at that fucking door. And it's like you can't just say, "Oh, look at that door."
No,
now that's a fucking piece of veal.
It's like an adjective or something.
I'd go into my grandmother's house, my Italian grandmother's
like a dangling participle.
Yeah, I hate that. Where you be at? I don't like. What the fuck is that? Anyway, I will hear Bangula dice dana manacha sandonom bia. There's a string of curse words, and my Polish family didn't really curse in front of the kids, or my Bobsy would never use a bad word. Never, and my mother was like that. However, the Italian side, completely different. If you didn't say an F-bomb once in a while, they wonder if something was wrong. So, yeah, they use it all the time. No, it's true. But I never said a bad word in front of my parents. I just left it all at school. Mrs. Panapinto. I didn't like her. She didn't like me. She says, I don't care if you fail my class. I'm going to fail you if you don't show up, and all this horse shit. It was an elective I didn't want to take anyway. So I said, go fuck yourself. And I walked out of her class. I didn't think that was a problem. But, and I did, she did fail me. It was, get this now, this is the irony. It was a public speaking class. Oh. Can you imagine? I failed the public speaking class. Well, I never showed up for any of the classes, so.
See, you were always that guy. You've always been that guy. You can't help but be that guy.
No, that's me. Yeah. It is me. You're gonna do. I mean, the fuck, man. Words don't. The only time I worked with her was fucking words can't hurt. Put a fucking 2x4 can or a baseball bat.
Listen, Diane hammered me. Like I was in the store shopping. I came into the car earlier this afternoon, and Diane and Shia were talking. And I get into the car, and Diane is just going off on a steady stream of just fucking profanity. And I was just like, "What the fuck did I just walk into?" And I was just like, I've heard you curse, but I never heard her curse quite like that.
Yeah. She can make some up on the fly like nobody's business, but when she gets like that, I just sit back and admire the work.
So maybe really the dynamic is Italian women, because we've identified it with Otibia, we've identified it with Diane.
Deadly.
I want to shout out my mother, happy birthday to her, and I know growing up. Yeah, it's her birthday today.
Oh, Wolf Mama.
Yeah, but let me tell you, as a kid, man, when the language came out of her, you knew it was your fucking ass. It was just like those words, they inspired fear. Like deep down, run out the back door, go hide in the woods kind of fucking fear. You know what I mean? And my old man used a little bit of it, but I think the dynamic of language came from my mother. So maybe it's Italian women that are to blame. I think we may have discovered something here.
Yeah, you know what? My dad, he didn't curse in front of the kids, but boy, did he have a bad mouth. Matter of fact, my mother used to call him out on it. I would hear them every once in a while, but she wouldn't use a bad word. I mean, as an adult man, I heard my mother say shit one time. I said, Ma, when do you say bad words? I'm old. I can say whatever the hell I want. Okay.
Well, that's a great go-to. It's just like, yeah, I'm old. Who the fuck cares?
Yeah, never heard her say the F word. Maybe once, but I don't really recall. I might have hit my head really hard that day and think I heard it. Other than that.
But listen, some of it was reflective of the time. Certain language was not as prevalent, obviously, in different time periods. It really wasn't until the mid-'60s that you really started language becoming more pronounced, especially, within profanity. Lenny Bruce, really kind of said, hey, I'm going to talk about all the things everybody's fucking afraid to talk about. And it got him into a lot of trouble, but it set the stage for things going forward. So it became more common, and to some degrees now, many people, I think, are even apathetic to it. You hear an F-bomb, and it's just, it's another day in Rochester.
Yeah, but you know what? With all of that shit going on, it's like now they want to cancel people for saying shit. It's like fucking, what is it, Jamie Foxx or who the hell?
You're talking about like Dave Chappelle,
Dave Chappelle
made some off-color jokes. I know. Listen, this is the problem now. Again, is that we have polarized language to the degree that you can be offended by anything. You say good morning, and somebody's offended because it's not a good morning. And how dare you make my morning good?
I got to call you out on that one though, because one day when we first moved here, I'm walking down, going towards what used to be Red Wings Silver Stadium down on Norton Street. Some motherfucker comes up to me and says, "Hey, have a nice day." I looked at him and I said, "The fuck did I ask you to talk to me? Who the fuck are you to tell me what kind of a day that was?" So I can get that. I understand that.
Hey, listen, I mean,
I think he was trying to be, I don't know, here comes the good out of Judah, but I think he was just trying to say, how are you? Like, hello.
Really?
Like,
I think
I know, but you're not, but
Ed was suspicious of the motivation.
Maybe he was, they don't do that where you come from, though. See, that's the problem, is that.
Oh, you know what's even worse?
But you know what? We've changed up here. We are not as Rochesterians are not as friendly and open as
no,
down
they're not.
in the South, and like in Georgia, or what I mean, where they're a little more laid back. I mean, we're
listen.
We are on the go.
It's not as laid back as you think.
Well, we're down in Appalachia. They're really friendly because there's only, generally speaking, 2 or 3 last names out of 10,000 people. So,
Yeah, listen, you can make a case for that.
Yeah, they know each other biblically.
But when we were in New Orleans, we saw some of that deeper, darker stuff, and I would make the case, if you go into the wrong section of Brooklyn at night,
oh yeah,
you know what I mean, it ain't gonna matter.
Yeah, no, I'm saying though that up here though, we aren't as we certainly aren't as friendly as we maybe
that's
were
gone.
It's
yeah,
gone.
A lot of that's gone. It is too bad too, because I was always nice to everybody.
I think it's a symptom of the times. I think people are just, again, more apathetic. They're more closed off. And in a lot of ways, I think they're more afraid. So it depends on the analogy. Like, again, I have the running joke with Shia. Shia will hug a random junkie in the middle of the fucking street because she believes there's magic in them. And I'm just like, what the fuck? I want to run away.
That's why you should carry Lysol with you.
My wife sort of the same way too, as well. She sees somebody there. Oh, we should help them out. It's like, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, we can, but things, exactly.
Yeah, well, it's those uncomfortable moments where you're
I'm
just
on my guard more than ever. Since I've met my wife, I'm a lot more on my guard than I've ever been. You know what I mean? Like, just. It's I'm more guarded than ever.
So what you're really trying to say is she's exposed you to the horrors of the world, and you're not quite definitely the same anymore.
Reality. That's reality.
Yeah. Yes. She still thinks I'm Beaver Cleaver, but I'm not. But and I'm more Beaver Cleaver than she has been around. But.
But we've already exposed it. There's a darker child lurking inside of Judah. It just doesn't. It doesn't get to come out and play often.
No, but when it does,
Yeah, all fucking bets are off.
Hey, so I watched that bridge collapse a couple of times today after the hit, so I just wanted to give a shout out about that. It was a horrible day. So.
Yeah, no, I mentioned it earlier.
Yeah,
I used to travel over that every day for almost a decade.
Yeah,
and I know you're not. But on top of it, you're not a. You are. Have a little bit of a fear of bridges too. So I mean, that
little bit. Jesus. Arthur Shawcross was a pretty bad guy, but he had a little bit of badness in him. Yeah,
nice.
I got a lot of fear of bridges. You like that, huh? There's a reason I brought that up because Judah understands that there's one person in the city of Rochester that could play Arthur Shawcross in a movie.
Yeah. Absolutely. Everybody, anybody post up a picture of that. Everybody will be like, "Oh yeah."
Yeah, and I had a picture of the three of us from your place last year that I threw up before.
Yeah.
So,
I like that picture.
Especially if he really delved into the character and got into the really got into the like the Joker, like whatever you call it, did with the Joker, like
Heath Ledger
did, with the Joker, and also the other one, it always does the good
Joaquin
work.
Phoenix or something.
Yeah, that was an interesting take. I always Heath Ledger was always going to be the definitive one. Before him, I thought Jack Nicholson did a really, really good job, but I think Heath Ledger really kind of showed us what it's like to really be fucking crazy.
The best one, Cesar Romero.
Oh well, no, he was okay. So he, he was a cool Joker though. Cesar Romero was a cool Joker. He was sort of like you weren't like
he's the Joker you bring to a kid's birthday party.
Yeah, there you go. He was like the clown Joker, like, ooh, look at me. No.
Let's see.
I mean, first of all, the best Joker is I mean, in terms of movie, is that the Joker movie is fantastic because it really takes you that
was good.
You find out why he is the way he is.
Oh, you get to slowly go down the rabbit hole of insanity and watch it play out in real time.
Yes, I mean, and again, Joaquin Phoenix was fantastic, and I mean, everybody who plays that, especially lately, they really go through a lot of stuff. So I don't know what it is with that character, but it fucking makes people,
Yeah, it's not so much the character; it's the actor that portrays the character. Because
I know, but
if you read the script and all, and no matter what the actor is, you're going to get into that character. That character is about as dark as it can get, and it takes a certain kind of actor to be able to do that. Mm-hmm. Otherwise, you're not good. And it does take a lot out of you when you do any kind of a dark character that you put yourself into the being. So
my sister Jamie in the chat is she says the Penguin is the best. She's I think you see it's probably going to have to be Burgess Meredith because I think I like Danny DeVito's, but I think Burgess Meredith really made the difference in the old original Batman series.
I think so too.
He was a Penguin. Like, I mean, it was just so. But I don't think he was. I mean, none of those villains were ever like they were campy evil. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that was intended.
You were never really going to be like. Even the Riddler was. It was just like
Frank Gorshin. Yeah, Frank Gorshin. But then
Frank Gorshin. Yeah.
Oh, listen, Tom Hardy is Bane. I was born in the darkness.
He was a good stand-up comedian, too. That's another thing. Frank Gorshin was a great comedian. But then, didn't Jim Carrey play the Riddler?
He did. He got into the character a little bit.
Yeah, Arnold Schwarzenegger played Mr. Freeze in one. Yeah, there was a couple.
He tried to portray that laugh, but it didn't come off. It came off Jim Carrey-ish laugh rather than coming off his Riddler laugh, which Gorshin was so good at.
He was the best at that, yeah.
You know what, ironically, I think is the best Joker laugh was from the animated series, and it was Mark Hamill. Mark Hamill was the voice of the Joker in all the animated Batman stuff for years, and he did an incredible job of just bringing that maniacal laugh. And it really, I watched it, with the boys, as they were growing up. And, that was their first exposure really, to the Batman character. And I didn't even realize until years later. And I was just looking at a bio on Mark Hamill, and, there it was. He was like, yeah, he'd been doing that shit for years.
Yeah. I got to tell you, I have a new respect for voiceover actors, and a really a huge amount of respect for Jack Black, whose voice is Kung Fu Panda, among other things over the years.
Oh, yeah. But you know what? By the way, Jack Black he's fucking phenomenal. He really is.
Yeah.
He really is a fantastic actor. He really, I mean, whatever you say, but his work in so many different things is really, really
he's good.
Yeah. No, listen, he's a great comedian. I think School of Rock was a great movie.
Yeah, exactly. School of Rock was fine. It was just, he really is really good.
Him playing a junkie in Tropic Thunder, I thought was a nice little stab at the Hollywood culture. You know what I mean? And listen, we both know that movie probably could not get made today because it hit into some things that, let's be blunt, Ed mentioned it before. People are getting canceled for less.
If you really wanted to say what movies could never be made, why don't we just wipe out all the Mel Brooks ones, basically?
Yeah, I know.
Oh, yeah. Now, listen, Blazing Saddles, let's be honest. I mean, but listen, Quentin Tarantino gets away with it, but that's because Samuel Jackson's got his fucking back, and Samuel Jackson's like, go ahead, fuck with a motherfucker, find out. So, I guess some of it depends on who you got behind you. You know what I mean? I don't condone it, so I won't, throw it out there even in a comedic sense because I don't believe it's right and it's my personal choice. But I've seen the effects through the years now how certain elements of language now are really to become weaponized. So, and Scotty P, like I was talking earlier before you came on, Ed, with Judah, Scotty P made a very, very tame reference on a thread that I had seen on social media, and people were just losing their fucking minds, and he just graciously dipped out of it. But I'm thinking in the back of my mind, it's fucking comedy. Like, there's so much more horrible shit going on out there, and people are just losing their minds because he thought a particular thing was funny. He wasn't cruel. It wasn't mean. It wasn't anything besides, just like an old school dynamic that we would do as kids and be like, yeah, you know what I mean? You're acting like that, and it just, people just, they lose their fucking mind. Literally, it's like Heath Ledger. It's like everybody loses their fucking mind, and it's just like, wow.
Well, I like to, as you say, poke the bear every once in a while just to see what kind of a response I can get from somebody because, because I like to do that because I'm an annoying person sometimes.
Oh, listen, you enjoy it. It's it's like Christmas. Christmas and the Holocaust all wrapped together in one. You just get to watch the horror and you just sit back and just
Doesn't
be like,
get any better than that.
Yeah. And yes, that's an off-color joke, but it is, most people know, if we can't laugh at the things, especially the horrible things around us, then all we are destined to do is just live in fucking misery and darkness, and just everybody is just afraid of their own fucking shadows.
But that's why people like Mel Brooks are so relevant and so important.
And thank you for recognizing that, because that was actually a quote from Mel Brooks, who used a lot of that element because, he lived his life as a Jew, saw the Holocaust for what it was, and he said, listen, we have to put a comedic element into this. It's not dismissing it. It's not trying to make fun of the suffering, but we're in the here and now. So if we don't find a way to put it into that perspective, we're just doomed to repeat it. And that was his theme in a lot of the stuff, when he did, Springtime, Hitler and, other, oddball little analogies that he would pull in to make a social statement. Blazing Saddles was just filled with cultural and social, what the fuck moments. But it did really, it reflected the perspective that was going on at the time.
Simon Wiesenthal, I believe it was Simon Wiesenthal. I'm going to try to get the quote as closely as I can. He was a survivor of the Holocaust and helped hunt down Nazis who had a a easy time to get into Argentina and Chile and all the South American countries. But Simon Wiesenthal, when asked about all in all the Holocaust, what it meant to the Jews and how horrific it was, he said there are no words in humanity that can describe it. So he says it was just not nice because there's no word to describe it.
Right. How do you put that kind of horror into a box?
And so they're trying to, whoever was interviewing him, they're trying to get him to say something, but never expected his response, which if you think about it, yeah, it's too horrible even to have something that you can call it. You can call it anything, but you don't feel the real horror of it, so why bother?
Yeah,
But,
listen, I mean, that is the beauty of comedy and satire, and it comes from, all angles, you know what I mean? Again, whenever somebody, makes a Catholic priest joke about, some of the shit that goes on behind the back curtains, it's not saying, hey, we endorse this or, hey, this is cool. We're taking the irony, we're taking the satire and trying to frame it, not only to just have the conversation, but to, again, lessen some of the horror that, ultimately I think it is reflected. Now, Brian, you could probably speak to this better. One of the things I've heard from people is that Slosh was very well known for that. He would put things into his own context perspective and usually would reflect it within some dynamic of sarcasm or humor.
Oh yeah, definitely, and he wasn't afraid to say what he wanted to, and swear just as well. I mean, he wasn't afraid of any of that. He was Uncle Slosh. He's going to say what he wanted to say. He was going to say, whatever he felt, and
well, you should.
And yeah, I mean, he never pulled any punches the way he said stuff. I mean, he just. But I think that's what people respect. Kind of, that's what they liked about him. He just was who he was. He was genuine. He wasn't trying to be fake. He wasn't trying.
No.
Although when you got him away from a lot of things and you got him really into, he could have a good conversation with you too as well about things. You know what I mean? So I mean, he wasn't just, for anybody who thinks he was just fucking drunk all the time. No, not at all. I mean, first of all, he was so giving, and and just, I mean, he was incredible with Tony. I mean, just, I mean, it was beautiful to watch because he can get on Tony's level, and Tony, he could talk with, have that conversation with Tony and all that, and talk about games and all that, and it was really. But he can have those conversations, and that's what was the beauty of Uncle Slosh. He can talk with anybody he wants to. You know what I mean?
And that's the kind of thing you can't bullshit your way through.
Yeah, he can use the language when he needs to.
You either have that charisma or you don't.
We go back to Olivia. She loved the way he would swear, because anybody who you drop in a whole bunch of fucking those things, you instantly become a fan of Olivia becomes a fan of you because so they took like I said before, they definitely formed a bond right away over being able to just be able to speak.
Now, you guys probably won't be able to see this in a moment, but one of the pictures I have up that I pulled from your page, Judah, was Slosh basically behind the microphone with the chicken, and he's got the chicken wank in his fingers, and it looks like he's draining it into his water bottle.
Correct.
With this look on his face, like, see what they make me fucking do here.
Correct. And that was another thing. I mean, he brought we brought the chicken in, and he he was just again, he was just it was an incredibly cool dude, and just he loved to laugh and just loved to loved the life he just had. I mean, he didn't have a lot. So the last couple of years of his life, he had suffered a lot of losses. I don't think he ever really got over his wife Marilyn. I mean, and he had a few decent relationships, but some of them never really panned out well as he thought. You know what I mean? And there was, he left a little, but at the same time, he had started to turn around in terms of like, in terms of his passing is so strange to me, and this is why, and I'm just going to get into this just real quick, because his passing is so, for me, is so fast, and like it almost seems like Uncle Slosh just went away. You know what I mean? Because when we saw him, he was fine. You know what I mean? So you don't, how you see, you see that person that's in the hospital, and you go see him, like a grandmother or whatever. And then they start to fade away, and then they have those last few moments. But you don't think when you see your friend who's celebrating his birthday, hey, we'll see you next Sunday. You know what I mean? That the next day you're going to find out that he's not with you anymore. You know what I mean? Because there was
weird.
He wasn't. He didn't complain about any pain he was in. Some people are just like, oh, I don't feel well today. You know what I mean? He didn't get that. So for me, it still doesn't feel real because there wasn't, there wasn't as much of a closure like you might get with that person that's in the hospital. You know what I mean? And you see them fading away a little bit. Maybe he had the heart attacks, but he was starting to eat better. He was starting to, do things. He wasn't drinking as much as he used to because he didn't enjoy it anymore, because when he had people over, he would love to hang out with them and have a great time. But then, we all know, as much as George the Thorogood says, drink alone. Nobody really wants to, really,
No, listen, it's a black hole.
Nobody really wants to
fucking
drink
nowhere,
alone,
right? Yeah.
Yeah. So he when he goes, because he was alone so much toward the end, it's just he didn't drink as much as he wanted to, and he loved coming to the show every Sunday, and that's why we kept the show certainly rolling, and and we had a great time doing it, certainly. But why we expanded to 4 hours? He just loved to be able to do what we were doing, and for local music and showing off all the great local music that we have, in our area and region too. He knew so many of the musicians and all that too as well. So he was good friends with them too as well. So good. But that's why it's so hard. Even now, the closure, I think, for a lot of people is just, wow, okay, he was here, and then all of a sudden he's not. You know what I mean?
That's hard, man. That's hard.
It almost seems like, like when you see it on TV, a character just kind of goes away. It's almost like that in real life. Like he just went away. Like there's, you didn't see him kind of.
It doesn't make sense.
And it wasn't
it is the irony of it, right? Yeah.
I mean, you can see that. You can have that happen. You could have, he had a car accident, those kind of things. But he didn't. He went home, in 3 hours from after he went home, 3-4 hours, he's not with us anymore. That's weird. You know what I mean? Like, it's hard. Yeah. Your mind doesn't know how to comprehend the whole thing,
But there's also the dynamic that you guys had a bond, and because of that bond, let's be honest, when we have an emotional connection to people, it cuts deeper. That is the shitty reality.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, of course. And, and again, that's what we why we started this, why we started, the first one, of course, was going to be a memorial. His family was very private, Dennis and his mom, very private. They didn't want to have this big old thing, but we said, well, let's at least have a memorial, because they didn't even have a service, where people could come. And, they didn't want to do that at all. He was cremated, and so we said, let's, when the spring comes around and his birthday, let's do first of all, let's do a memorial thing, concert for him, and kind of show that he'd want to do, So we got some of the bands together and all that, and then, and Bart Mamone, big, was a big leader of that, and Jane Eagle too as well. We all were involved with that. And Dennis was so moved, his brother was so moved by seeing the whole, he was there, he just sat back. He was one of those guys that he wasn't Uncle Slosh. He was the opposite of Uncle Slosh, where didn't say a whole lot. He just kind of took things in and just was a little more laid back, a little more judo-like compared to like that, basically. Think of that context there, and that's the difference between Uncle Slosh and his brother Dennis. You know what I mean? Two, totally different. As much they loved each other, they were very different in terms of their personalities. Uncle Slosh had more boisterous personality, where Dennis, he would say some things, but now, he was very more private. But he was so moved by it, he said, "Yeah, you guys should do it more, and certainly have it go towards something like a benefit, make it a benefit for something." And that's why this year that we're doing Slosh Fest too, And I think I like the lineup that we've got, because that's what I want to try to do, because he loved all kinds of music as Uncle Slosh, and I think that's this lineup here shows that he wasn't always all about the thrash. Like, I might do more Slosh Fest in the future where it gets a little more thrashy. You know what I mean? Because he liked that too as well, so we loved it all. But this is a good one.
No, I agree with you. It needs to be organic in the dynamic of what's going on. These are bands that are active within the local Rochester scene, and as much as we would all love to involve everybody, there's just no logistical way possible to do that. So it has to literally just be, okay, this is what it is. It's not about the egos. It's about the spirit of not only the man, but what he was trying to do and carrying that on, not only just, through the radio station, but more importantly, with the bands, with the scene, and getting people together to live, to laugh, and to love. I mean, that's the message that I get from it, never even having met the guy.
Oh yeah. And that's a great, perfectly well said. Is what we're trying to accomplish with that is encompass into something that can benefit things, but at the same time is still a great memory of the way Slosh would want to have a party with all kinds of people just having a good time, And I wasn't able to play it, but at some point I'll share with you, a poem he wrote. You know what I mean? I played it and it was something, and so he wrote it because, I don't have the ability to play it, but it's just so moving, the fact that he wrote it, about his own, how he wanted.
Let's get that in, because we're going to do a focus on one of the Friday morning shows where we're going to really, push into the Slosh Fest and stuff like that. So hold that for a Friday
I'll bring that. Yeah, I'll bring it to that, because I have it right at the station, no less, and it's really well written. He talks about it. He does, people, will you cry for me? Don't cry for me. You know what I mean? Just know that I loved everybody. You know what I mean? And that's the message to take away from what he was saying is. He would do a lot of writing. He would do a lot of poems. He would do a lot of writing like that. So he was very cool that way. And so he was very introspective like that, especially when he met somebody. If he met somebody they really cared about, he'd write a lot of nice little, writing things about him. And so he was a good writer. He's very good in terms of poems and all that. But he had come up with a great one about when people pass away, So.
Sometimes it's ironic, isn't it? Listen, I think this is a good segment. We're going to jump to a couple of the new tracks from some of the local Rochester bands. Just so that way, again, in the spirit of keeping things in the mix. New track by Side Eye called Possibilities. And then we're going to follow up with Hollowell's new track Fallen. So we're going to take like a 10-minute break, play some music for everybody, and then we'll come back and continue the dance.
Yeah, and I will see you guys later. I'm going to head off to the living room.
Just the living room?
Yes, until I am told it's bedtime.
Ah, yes. Gotta watch the clock. Tell mama we're going to get her out here. Like I'm definitely, I have to. It is my mission in fucking life now. Because I've gotten I've gotten you, I've gotten Brian, I've gotten Nativia, with me, Shy, the only person. Well, that and maybe like Lucy and Joyce. Like I think we could get like Lucy and Joyce in like one of those kind of like celebrity death match type of scenarios between, mother and daughter.
Celebrity
And
deathmatch.
just
I like
let
that,
them
yeah.
fucking hang it out. If you're listening down there, love you all. I had to kind of just take that moment and shout them out. But I love this dynamic, because it's cool. We all interact with people who have achieved different elements of fame or have different elements of popularity, but the real dynamics are just the ordinary people. Like, Slosh wasn't a famous guy, quote unquote, but the people who knew him loved him, and he made a difference regardless. And I think in some ways he made more of a difference, at least again, from the way people have talked about him, because that's really the truest testament. You know what I mean? Because he's not here to speak for himself.
Yeah,
so
that is.
How people remember him, I think that's real magic right there.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Yeah. Gentlemen.
All right, get the fuck out of here, you bad man.
Yeah, play a couple of cool songs. I love the Side Eye. Side Eye is fantastic, and the Hollowell, of course, fantastic.
Oh yeah.
Yep, and these are all bands that have been here in the WRFZ studio. Hollowell performed.
They have been
last year at the October 7th show. They've done shows at Iron Smoke and other places. I know Side Eye starting to get out there. So, this is part of the continuing, adventure, in the spirit of Uncle Slosh.
And I personally get side eye every day from my lizards and my built bulldog. So yeah.
Well, I mean that's a whole nother podcast, man.
All right, love you guys. Have a good night.
Love you too, brother. We'll catch you. All right,
tomorrow, brother.
Here we go. Side Eye Possibilities, and we'll be back in a few minutes.
Every day, I would not replace the unknown. It's exciting in a way. Maybe at the crossroads of what's been and what could be, the place that I'll be waiting, a place of possibilities, maybe at the crossroads. You could always stay in or go out and hit the town, depending on the mood you're in. Are you ready to get down? Just might meet the one you've been holding out hope for. Find a you will know it. Knock you right down on the floor. Meet me at the crossroads of what's been and what
The Old Wolf here to remind you to join us Sunday, April 14th from 1 to 7 p.m. over at the Iron Smoke Distillery for the second annual Slosh Fest, an event dedicated to celebrating the life and legacy of the late great Uncle Slosh, beloved DJ here at WRFZ and a champion of the Rochester music scene. We got an incredible lineup including Blue Circle, Stoned and Free, Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners, Peter Ryan and Brian Judah's Day's End closing it out. It promises to be an afternoon filled with amazing music, community spirit, and the power of giving back. Again, only here on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM. So yeah, welcome back. That was the Slosh Fest promo featuring Day's End and a little bit of Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners. Before that, we had Side Eye's new track, and we had Hollowell. I see Teresa and Tyler hanging in the chat. Great track. Hint, hint, send me more. Hey, Tyler. Tyler, send me fucking more music.
Oh my God, Tyler, you gotta send me exactly. We need more music. Yeah, we need more Hollowell.
Yes, I need more of that album to play.
Yes.
Wow, we got all three of them. Jonathan just popped up. Jonathan,
right.
John, you remember because you were with us at that December show at Iron Smoke.
Yes.
Dude, it was so fucking hysterical. For those of you who missed the moment, and I joked about it back in December, but it's worth revisiting. He had a full-on inflatable sumo suit that he ran off stage, put on, came back on, and jumped on the fucking stage and just, kept going with it. And it really was. Yep. It was a great show. You won the guitar in the raffle there that's being signed by all kinds of people. And they got a bunch of other shows.
I think we're going to bring it to Slosh Fest. We're going to let some people sign it there, too.
Cool. So, Tyler says, don't worry, he has more. They are in final production, quote unquote. So, yeah, we'll get some more stuff coming down the pipe.
Awesome. Hollowell's so good. Seriously.
Jonathan's like, I'll do it again. Listen, I know that motherfucker would. He will do anything for the laugh.
Doubting him. He doesn't have to. It's not a challenge that we're putting out to him.
No. He's like, hold my beer. Here we go.
Exactly.
But seriously, great people, everyone in that band. I know Teresa is getting ready. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Teresa is going to be your guys' third kid coming up very soon around the pike. So they're going to have another little one rolling around, and she's, big factor in, a lot of that stuff. Great voice, great guitar player, and very much active and connected with the scene, which we definitely need more of. So this is part of what we all do. This is what Slosh would want. We'd want, people from all different ends. It doesn't matter about the color of your skin. It doesn't matter about your religion. It doesn't matter about your politics unless you're fronting as a full fucking on Nazi. But luckily we don't have any Nazis in our circles. Doesn't matter about your sexual. None of it fucking matters. It's about the music. It's about family. It's about love, laughter, and hope. I think maybe that's a good note, because I know you mentioned it in the framework that Slosh had a lot of hope for the music scene and everything that went with it, you know what I mean? Because, again, he wasn't getting paid to do what he was doing, and a lot of people capitalize on that shit. You and I both know, more times than not, people are driving this stuff from their ego. They don't give a shit about anybody else or what's going on. They're just like, hey, put some dollars in my park, stroke my fucking ego, and he wasn't that guy.
I know. Yeah, no, he wasn't. And there were a few around town that have that, and and there were, it's very few though. Very few. I think overall our music scene is fantastic. And
see, you're just being good. I'm ugly. I'm not going to name names, but you and I both know you're being nice. You're being the nice guy.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's always people you come across. Yeah. But even those people are I think are good.
I mean, listen, we need garbage for compost, so something has to get recycled in the recycling bin. So we gotta keep feeding the fucking machine. And listen, again, all joking aside, some of this is just context, is perspective. When you look at a thing from one angle and stuff, you only see what you can see. There's a lot of stuff, obviously, that goes on. It doesn't get talked about. We tend to avoid the uncomfortable moments. And Teresa's like, loud minority of egomaniacs. See, that's a nice way of putting it. But that is unfortunately, one of the side effects that go with anything where there's money and ego involved. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It is a natural dynamic, but, you know, some of it obviously is simple, and just you look at the actions, you look at the dynamics of what a person does, what they say, and how they engage. You know, that's one of the things I've always loved about you, and, you know, not to blow smoke up your own ass, you will always go out of your way to be the good guy, even if somebody has obviously slighted you or, you know, done you wrong, obviously to certain degrees, but you always have that inherent belief in, you know what, you're going to look for the brighter side of life. You're going to look for the inherent good in it, even though it may not fucking exist. You're the guy that's going to keep on trying, whereas I'm the guy who's just going to be like, fuck that, and Ed's the guy that's going to kick somebody in the nuts, but, you know.
Very true.
Another conversation for another day.
Absolutely. I mean, about the only thing you can say, you know, again, with music community is sometimes there's clickiness where, you know, there's certain bands can you know, and they deservedly so, and no slight against them, but you know, I mean, how about giving some other bands some chances? And I'm not calling out anything, you know, when I say that, but how about giving some other bands some chances to, you know, to show what they can do too as well. You know, I mean, and I get it from a business standpoint. I obviously see the point is if they're gonna put asses in the place, and they're gonna, you know, that's the bottom line. It really is. It's a bottom line thing. So if you're gonna bring, you know, a couple hundred people, right, and then this other band's gonna bring 50 to 100, well, you're going to take the extra 100 people. I get it. You know, I mean, I'm not downing on that, but I still think our scene gets too cliquey in terms of just we're recycling the same band at certain places.
But these are just, these are the cycles. They're like seasons. They come and go. So they'll reflect a particular element within a particular period of time until it doesn't suit somebody's purpose. It falls apart, this, that, the other thing. And then we reset, and then something else comes out. You know, some of it, and again, I want to use Slosh Fest as an example. You know,
sure.
Here's a context analogy. Your band, Pete Ryan, Stoned and Free, Blue Circle, JJ, everybody doing this is doing it because they either believe in what Slosh did or through you or indirectly. Mm-hmm. So, you know, nobody's getting paid. You see where I'm going? Mm-hmm. Nobody is sure. framing themselves. They're doing it for the right reasons. It's the same analogy I'll use with like Hollowell and others when they did the October 7th show with us. I get it. Again, you and I both know, yes, everybody's got to make a living and stuff like that, but there is always a need to give back. It can't always be one-sided and always about the me. What are you going to do for me? What are you going to give to me? And then not even be, you know, even remotely there to support or help or do anything for anybody else. So, you know, some of this, I think, again, and I can't say enough about all the bands doing this show, that they're coming out, they're giving up their time. It isn't just them, you know, showing up and playing for 45 minutes. It's, you know, dragging their equipment out and setting up and then breaking down and then schlepping it all back. There's a lot that goes into performing. And most people, again, they don't see that. They don't think about that, really. They're just there, you know, for the music, maybe have a couple drinks, a cheeseburger, whatever the case may be.
Oh, no. I mean, I don't think it's their place to know, but yeah, a play out of a gig, you know, is it's not just those few hours. It starts where you're getting things ready around 4 or 5 o'clock for a 9 or 10 o'clock show. You know what I mean? Starting to get things ready, you know, to go and back things up. And then there's sound. You got to get the sound right. You got to do load ins. So you can get load ins, you know, on an average night you're playing out. And a load in could be 7 or 8 o'clock. You know what I mean? Probably more like a 6:30, 7 o'clock. And then, you know, there's a lot of waiting around for things to, you know, let me make sure my drums or you know, whatever sounds right, you know what I mean, which is fine. We want to do that, you know what I mean? And then afterwards you play those few hours, and then you know, at the end you want to talk to people, but at the same time you got to take things down. So it really turns into an 8-hour event. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't realize that.
And it doesn't count all the hours of practice and everything else that goes in promoting.
Yeah. Oh, you're throwing hours of practice. Yeah, absolutely. Oh my God. Yeah. When you throw in hours of practice, you know, like days on, we finally got back together this Sunday with a great practice. Got some new songs, you know. Some new songs we're going to try out.
Looking forward to that, brother.
Definitely. Soon.
Definitely looking forward to that. Yeah, you were talking about that Friday when you had Chris on.
Yeah, Bears. We like that song. You know, it's a cool song.
Yeah, no, listen, it's an obscure track, but again, from a great band back in the day that I don't think, and you and I both agree on this, we've had this conversation, Zebra didn't really get, I think, their fair due. I think they kind of got lost with all the other bands that, you know, in my opinion, at least they got tossed into the whole. Right, they exploited the dynamics of music videos and things, and Zebra didn't really do that. They were more about the music. I've seen interviews with them and stuff, and you know they're doing their tour now and stuff. They just that wasn't what they were about. You know what I mean? And you know, ironically, I think it also reflects now. You look at the other side at some of these last gasp tours that some of these characters are trying to pull off and stuff like that. That it comes out in the wash. I think Zebra is going to be remembered better, but again, conversation for another time. So do you have any final things you want to share about Slosh? We're going to keep this going, obviously, until the 14th. So, we'll be doing stuff on some of the radio shows. Do you don't have a Sunday, you have a repeat that you're doing this Sunday, correct, for Easter?
This for Easter, yep.
Okay.
They're probably going to go back and go a couple weeks ago. I think I want to try to, feature some of the bands. So we might go back and do, when we had Brother Floyd and the Blessed Sinners, when we did that show.
Nice.
So we're kind of segueing. The week before is going to be a good one. You're going to want to listen to The Rock the Sunday before, because I think Peter Ryan's going to come on, who's obviously performing at Slosh Fest. He is blowing up all over in terms. He is playing out like almost 3 times a week right now. He's all over. You can see his schedule. The women are out there loving him. He's doing this country thing, and they're just eating it up. So I mean, he's really doing well. He's going to be on our show.
We can pimp him out at Slosh Fest to raise money.
Oh, probably so. Yes, absolutely.
Ooh, yes. I see a plan developing.
Yes, he works at I guess he's a drum instructor at a gym or something like that. I don't know. It's what Chris said. My drummer, Chris Shallow, So, but no, and then we're also going to have Stoned and Free come on. So you're going to want to check out.
I was there for Blue Circle. They're a really cool band. You know what I mean? Yeah. Unfortunately, we don't have any of their music right now, but that's something we can talk to them and sure. See what they got down the pike. Stoned and Free, unfortunately, because it's a Hendrix, tribute band. It's a little bit different narrative versus like you and, Brother Floyd and others who are writing, original music. You know what I mean? That's the other beauty. Yes. And, we've got a good combination of original music and, tribute cover type of stuff. So as you said, there's stuff for everybody at this, this show. So it's going to be a really, really cool show. Again, you can check out Brother Judah Sundays 12 to 3, Rock the Rock on WRFC, Rochester Free Radio.
Oh, and don't forget this Friday, The Good, the Bad, and Ugly, we do have the great Get Your Gig on. We got Christine and Randy are coming on.
Oh, all right, cool. That's right.
The second hour. They're coming on the second hour, the 10 o'clock hour. They're going to join us, and that's going to be cool. And they are much like we are. They are proponents for the area in terms of what's going on, and I'm a member. I'm a member of that group. I've been following it actually now for a few and stuff like that. Just seeing what people are doing. There's always some interesting posts, not only shows, but people share their music in there. And obviously, as somebody who's been looking to try and get back to live performance again, I'm always also trying to. Sometimes somebody will sneak in and be like, "Hey, we're looking for a guitar player. Haven't found the right situation yet, but hey, anybody listening? There's a wolf who plays guitar out here that, is theoretically available for the right situation." And the beauty of this is I work for fucking free. So unlike some other people out there, we're not going to name any names, you get me for free if the situation is right.
Yeah, listen, I can't do. Listen, I kind of made a, I guess, a promise to myself that, and I was after the last band that I was in with my son, and I love those guys dearly. Don't get me wrong. But the shit almost killed me, man. It literally almost fucking killed me. I was working a full-time job, trying to dance everything else. Will was in college, and we had the band, and we were going here, we were there, we were doing shows, and it was a lot. It was a lot to do, but the thing that I really just couldn't deal with personally was the drive for the almighty dollar. I believe that when money becomes the focus of music, it's no longer music, it's a product. You see where I'm going? So I kind of had to find my own balance with it. I'm just like, listen, I'll make music, I'll do this, but I'm not going to do it for money. I don't want money contaminating it, and don't get me wrong, I understand people need to do that. A lot of people do bands to supplement their income. I don't need to do that. I don't want to do that. So it was just kind of one of those hard lines in the sand, moments that I just like, I don't want to get into that part. If it's for a charity, I'm all for it. I'll do charity shows every day of the week. You know what I mean? If there was an opportunity. But the other drive for it, and this, you know the struggle is real. We've both encountered scenarios where, you're going through all this insanity to have to fight for, fucking $50 for everything that you've done.
I know.
Just like,
I've done it.
Fuck,
I've done it most of my career. It's been, at the end of the night, you do all this and you get between $50 and $100 basically after everybody gets paid. You know what I mean? That's usually what it's for, which is, and like you say, it's not about the money because we wouldn't be doing it. We joke around and at the end of the night you get $10. I mean, sometimes you do. I mean, if they cut your pay, I've gotten $10 for gas before taking it and said, you know what?
Listen, and there are plenty of promoters love to rip off musicians. They'll come up with some.
Well, we can get into that, but I won't.
We don't. No, we're not naming names. We're just saying. Listen, if you're a band out there,
we'll come out and do another at some point. We might do another one, but I won't name any names. But oh my gosh, it's a.
Oh, you got some stories.
Well, I mean, I come from helping out, looking for bands to being in a band, so I've seen it all.
Yep. No, boy, I produced a few shows over the years, and I've seen very similar dynamic. And listen, there are some great places. We did some shows at the Stone Pony, and let me tell you, Kyle and his guys down there are great at what they do, and they're honest. But there are a lot of characters that float in between. Like I knew a bunch of bands a couple of years ago that just completely got fucked by some asshole who was basically, selling off slots for a Stone Temple show in a casino, and basically took the money and ran, and none of the bands saw shit. You know what I mean?
Well, one last story, and I won't give any names out, but toward one of the last few years of Adrenaline, we got involved with a guy that, basically had all these grandiose ideas, you know what I mean? And, and he came through for a few gigs there. We got paid really, really good. Okay. But then we find out that he doesn't really like, he would come off and, I've got, this is going to, I forgot who was sponsoring us, but it was like Coca-Cola or something big, like a big, beverage thing was backing the band, right? But it wasn't. It turned out that the man was using his wife's inheritance, you know what I mean? And he wasn't really getting this money from that particular corporation. Well, yes, we got paid, but then we found out that, and
there was some shady shit going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Absolutely. Well, I mean, not really shady as much as, actually, you can't even call this shady because it didn't make any sense. It was the ability to build up your own ego. It was an ego thing. It was like I could I could have this set up so it looks like you're successful and you are still getting paid, right? At the end of the night,
listen, it's about the ego, man. Listen, my brother Chris Miller's in the audience, and he was naming names, and I'm not going to repeat the name because he's that kind of asshole, but I love him. But he knows he works security for shows. He's worked with everybody, Bruce Springsteen and Marshall Tucker Band. He was the guy that introduced me to Doug Gray and all those, and Artemis Pyle and stuff like that. And he's seen it because that is the human dynamic. People just they're there for the ego. They're there for the photo shoot. They wanna smell. They want to taste. You know what I mean? And they don't give a shit about how or who gets in the way or any of those dynamics. But it is also the old human narrative. Fucking greed. You know what I mean? If there's an opportunity to take advantage of it. There's thousands upon thousands, if not probably millions of stories of bands being fucked around and taken advantage of. My gosh. Fucking Doug Mack was, sharing me some of his stuff, and I'm just like, yep, I've seen that shit, and it's universal. It doesn't matter where you are, doesn't matter what kind of music you're in. There are, people out there that are just, let's call it, they're fucking scumbags. You know what I mean? They're scumbags.
I mean, the best documentary you could ever watch in music, is the one where it's narrated by Gene Simmons, and he literally talks about the music industry itself, that it literally has spoon-fed what we listen to on a regular basis forever, basically. It literally, they control what we like, basically, because it is... got to see it, because if you haven't seen it,
I know what you're talking about. That's what makes the local music scene so important. Why underground music, be it outlaw country, be it thrash, be it some new twist on alternative or pop. I saw something, you probably saw it as well too. There's going to be this new kind of incarnation of King Crimson, but not quite King Crimson. And
yes, I saw that. Yes.
You know what I mean? So who knows what the fuck they're going to come out with that whole little thing. But you periodically see these moments in music history where the tempo changes. Grunge did that, whether or not you like grunge or not. And again, they're just examples throughout, and inevitably they're going to be new ones down the pike.
No, because like I said, the music industry itself is a lot of it's a lot of corruption, and just a lot of we know so many of the bands and artists that never got paid or had successful hits, and they're homeless. The stories. And these they make pennies on the sales. Where the execs are going. On their yachts, basically. So,
no, listen, they're getting rich off of other people's magic, but listen, that's
they always have.
That's an old school narrative, right?
I really don't. I've never that whole pirating of music. Yeah, I on a smaller level, I don't like it, but when you get into the bigger commercial stuff, you know what? At that point, I really don't.
Oh, listen, I don't give two shits at that particular point. Yeah,
when Bear Share came out, I was like, nope. You guys have spent, you guys have made millions, and again, the artists, yes, but the record companies themselves and the executives, no, they shouldn't be fighting anything in terms of when that came out and how that played out. Because I was all for it. I was like,
context. If people are listening and they're not trying to make a buck off of it, that I think is where the boundary should be. People should be able to enjoy it and share it and do what they do and stuff. Now, again, if you're going to try and take somebody else's stuff and then make a fucking buck on it, well, guess what? If it's not your stuff, then they are entitled to something.
But nobody was doing that at the time.
Right.
With Bear Share and all that.
That's the difference. The whole Napster saga.
It got a little weird because somehow music would get out before it was even officially out. That really got into a point where, wow, this song is out before the whole record is out.
Listen, I know, guys, when I worked in the city, and let me tell you, I've seen this more times than not. that shit was staged and purposed. I know a lot of underground elements were purposely put out there to create the vibe, to create the buzz. You see where I'm going? Because, again, a lot of this is smoke and mirrors. It's the illusion. You and I both know, especially depending upon a genre element. You know what I mean? You look at a guy like Alice Cooper, and then you look at who Alice Cooper is in real life. You know, it's the Spinal Tap analogy, just minus the comedy.
Yes. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. You know, but, you know, I know you were saying about, you know, things was, get on out to, I can't stress enough, get on out to Slosh Fest 2 and just, you know, live the
come up to Rochester, New York. Come hang out at the Iron Smoke Distillery. Again, I want to really shout them out because they were like, hey, here, you use our place.
Absolutely.
What do you need? They have been incredibly gracious and supportive. And I think, again, it's a cool venue out there. It's got it's got the parking. You don't have to worry about some of the other silly shit that, you know, goes into there. And, you know, they got a great sound guy. Luke, if you're listening out there, brother, much love, man. You definitely running a tight ship on that.
Absolutely. And I love that he's already, you know, we're going to have a little meeting and all that. So, you know, on top of that, rather than just go ahead, we'll show up and, you know, and, okay, you know.
Listen, when you find the right people, it's easy, you know, and that's really what it's about. You know, if everybody pulls their weight, so much can be done. And it's maddening because you and I have both seen it. We both know the analogy. 10% of the people do 90% of the work. And it's just, it's a waste of time. It's a waste of resources. And unfortunately, it just, again, tends to be the narrative. But the flip side is when you find people like Jen and Luke and others that we work with, man, there's so much you can do, you know, and that's again, what I believe is real magic. All right. So any final words before I send you up to your wife there, brother?
Get on out to Slosh Fest. I can't stress that enough. I think everyone's going to have a good time. I think it's going to be a good turnout already. So, but you know, if you don't know what, you know, I think you got to get out there and check it all out because this year's going to be really, really special. It's a great venue for watching live music. Iron Smoke is a great venue to watch live music at, because if you don't want to be right on top of the loud noise, you can go around the corner and still hear it pretty well. So it you know, the room is a good room,
and it's a testament to a good sound guy. Can't stress that enough.
Absolutely. So again, I can't stress it enough. I think it'll be a good turnout anyways. But get out there if you know, and check out Slosh Fest 2024, Slosh Fest 2. $10 is going to go toward a great cause, and you know. And
get together and make a difference, right? And listen, if you're not up here in this area, support your local music scene. Again, it doesn't matter if you're listening in New Orleans, if you're in Texas, if you're in Brooklyn, if you're down there in the Jersey Shore. I know my brother, Chris Miller, makes it a point. He supports the local music scenes, and he listens to a bunch of different stuff. You know, he's not the guy, you know, that's just going to be at one kind of show. You might see him at an Artemis Pyle show, and then he'll be at Merciful Fate. See where I'm going.
Absolutely.
True story. He just recently went to see Merciful Fate because his girl, Susie, is really heavy into them. And he's like, all right, cool. I'll go fucking check it. Eddie liked it. He's like, I had a good time. So you never know. Go check it out. And it's cheaper than anything that's out there. Like Bruce Dickinson said this, and I saw this quote the other day. Who the fuck wants to pay $1,200 to go see U2? I mean, that's fucking insane.
Oh, I know. I just saw that.
Like, what the fuck?
It's true. This is so crazy.
How does Bono need our fucking money that badly?
Yes. I saw, back in the day for $9, I saw, you know, Iron Maiden and a couple other bands for $9 exactly. You know, I'm not being old man when I say that, you know, back in the day. No, it's insane right now. I'm just saying the fucking music industry trying to make money.
Listen, Marshall Tucker is charging less than tribute bands. When I went and covered them last year at Batavia Downs, okay, and Batavia Downs is another cool little scene. Brother Floyd is going to be opening for 38 Special in August over there.
Yeah.
So we'll follow up with that later on into the summer. But the analogy is, and when I interviewed Doug Gray and he and I talked about it, he's like, he won't play that fucking game. He's just like, no, I'm not going to set these ridiculous price points. You know what I mean? And he probably could.
Yeah.
I think they're iconic enough within the Southern rock scene that, they could justify it. They could get away with it, but they don't. You know what I mean? They tour on the tour bus. You know what I mean? They play with all kinds of different bands. They were recently been playing with Jefferson Airplane. Last year they played with Green Day. You know what I mean? They played with Charlie Daniels. They played with a lot of different bands, a lot of different venues over the years and stuff. But his point was really to this dynamic of greed. You know what I mean? Like, when you have, tribute bands that are trying to charge $100, plus dollars for a ticket. And I don't give a fuck what venue it is, that it's fucking karaoke music. You know what I mean? It's just like, and I don't begrudge people who do it. There are a couple of people out there like the MTV Tribute Unplugged. I think he does a show that is worthy of paying the money to go see, because it isn't just a tribute show. It's an experience. You know what I mean? I use the same analogy with like Steve Ball and the Dogs. They do a lot of stuff that isn't exactly in my wheelhouse, but they make a production out of it, and they do it for a good cause. And they're not charging, ridiculous amounts of money to get in there. So I don't want to begrudge everybody who does tribute and or cover bands.
No.
But when you're trying to hit that kind of money, especially in a community like this, where, the majority are working class or below, it's fucking insanity. It's stupid.
Yeah, it is.
So, we wonder why, again, these things don't translate the way, that we hope they are. And then you have, like you said, this disconnect between, the music industry and the people who actually support music.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean,
absolutely.
Would you pay $1,200 to see Bono look sweetly in your eyes?
No, not at all.
Are you sure?
Well, for that price, you better be.
Dude, you better fucking blow me in the back, man. Let's not even fuck around, man. For $1,200, dude.
Exactly.
Dude.
No, I'm sorry, but I'm not paying $1,200 for like anything like concert or whatever. You know what I mean? Because it's such a it's there and it's there and the experience is there, right? But then it's gone. It's like when you pay like a really, really expensive amount for food. I mean, it still ends up the same, right?
Well, it's like the old Pulp Fiction, what does a $5 milkshake really talk about? Like,
I'm not downing anybody that would go spend $200 a plate on something at all. You do what you do, but
listen, let's be honest. It caters to the lifestyles of the rich and decadent. All right. It's just, the clique, as you said. You get to be part of the cool people, because the rest of the fucking peons, they can't afford to be here. We're special. We get to be part of this magical moment.
I worked at a high-end restaurant once, and it was fucking sad. It really was that they would bring these corporate people would come in and they would barely eat any of the food, and the bill at the end was like a few $100, $300-$400 at the end of the night of eating, and no one would eat it, and no one would take it home. So the stuff ended up getting thrown out. It was sick.
Yes. Let's throw money into the garbage.
Yeah. No, but get out the Slosh Fest, support local. That's all I can say, because again, I can't stress that enough. Just get support local musicians around the area.
But there's also another way
really,
that people who, if they can't come out to the show, that they can still help out and that they can support. Social media, YouTube, whatever music streaming services. These are all bands that are out there that are active. So you can give them a like, you could share their music out.
There you go.
You know what I mean? So even if you can't be there, and check us out, WRFC, Rochester Free Radio. You can listen to us live. We got a whole bunch of shows. You can go there. You can take a look at that schedule. Yep. Myself, Brother Judah here, Ed Contini. We got Steve Litzkak. You got Mike DiGiorgio. You got a whole bunch of people doing a bunch of
right now. Rockin' Robert's on. Rockin' Robert does Robert's records, and he does records. He actually plays actual records.
That's an old school FM dynamic. Yeah.
Yeah, so there's no thumb drive, what I mean? I'm going to play out. No, he's playing actual records, and yeah, he does a great time doing it, has a good time doing it. He used to do Nard's Rock and Roll Review back in the day in our area, so he's well versed. He knows what people want to hear, and he's rocking right now on Rochester Radio.
Hey, listen, a little bit of something for all kinds of people. Take what you need, leave the rest behind. Check it out. But these are the things that we can do, even if we can't go out to the show, or if we don't have money to throw in the hat per se, we can still support and help each other out. Listen, my brother, I thank you again for taking the time. It was a blast. This was definitely one of the ones I've been waiting to do and drag you into the darker limits of a fuckity fuck fuck fuck. Sing the fucks. Fuck 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 fuckity fuck fuck fuck.
Yeah,
I know.
It was fucking fun.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yeah, no, it is a blast. And listen, you did internet radio, so it's tough sometimes coming out of the freedom of this kind of stuff into the commercial spectrum. You know what I mean? Because again, I've dropped a couple F-bombs in this, and I'm coming up on my 1 year anniversary. I tried desperately to not let it carry over, but it's hard when you're used to being free. And then they want to put you back in the fucking cage. It's just like, I don't want to go back in the fucking cage.
Well, so funny. That brings one of the last things I'll share with you is the first time we were ever on the air for Rock the Rock, Uncle Slosh had his cell phone on, and his ringtone had fuck in it. There's something, I forgot what it was, but that went over the air like our first few minutes.
Our first show, it's like
we almost were done. The ringtone had the F-bomb in it. Oh my god!
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
So there you go. For first few minutes on the air, we had an F-bomb in the background.
Very cool.
And people heard it too, no less.
Great way to close it out. Listen, I'm gonna as we come out here, I'm gonna close out the show as I always try and do with a music track. I'm gonna play Deb Magoni for my mother again for her birthday. Her version of Turtle Blues, really, really great version.
Oh, love it
that she did.
Oh yeah, I played the song with her.
So you know what I'm talking about. It's one of those old iconic tracks, but it's when somebody can pull it off. And she does. She pulls it off. There's an element to it. You know what I mean? It's not a complicated song, but it does require, I guess, as she has said and has commented on, you have to have some connection to the blues. You know what I mean?
Oh, absolutely.
You can't just bullshit your way through it. So,
absolutely. No, that stuff and some of the other things I worked on with her really, for me, rounded me out even more as a musician because I was more of a rock guy and I had to learn, get more bluesy and learn that element, to pull it off. And you can't just fake it. Yeah, exactly. You gotta do it. So yeah, great way to end it. I love it. Yeah.
Yep. So that's what we're going to do. A little bit of Turtle Blues. So until next Tuesday, I'll be back.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. No, listen, there's a blast. Shy is going to be on tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for her Dances with Witches, her Tara stuff. Yep. And then Thursday afternoon, right before Ed, 1 to 3 p.m., she has her new radio show, Through the Veil.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I think my wife's coming on that one again.
Oh, yeah. No, listen, that again, my brain just I was like, okay, I cannot forget to promo the two of them or it's going to be my fucking ass this time. So I was just like, all right, what did I forget? Oh
my God, it's going to be.
Well, they're going to get into some of the elements of trauma and some of the sub classifications thereof of trauma, but it's also going to be very reflective, I think, of the honest perspectives of it. Because a lot of times you and I both know this shit gets put into a clinical sense. It becomes like this one-dimensional, type of rubber stamp that, people get, labeled with. And we don't, as a society, I think, really understand it, nor do we try, I think, many times to understand why do people feel the way they do? What have they gone through? How does it translate? How does it apply? And what can we do, to change those narratives? So I'm really looking forward to what they're going to bring to the table. Again, they're not going to have the language that we had, but I have a sneaking suspicion because I've been watching how the girls have been kind of interacting. I feel pretty confident that a variation of what we're doing now is going to start happening with the language things. You know what I mean? But yeah, listen, because sometimes you just got to call shit out for what it is, and OT knows what I'm talking about. She has some very distinct perspectives on things, and I think they're accurate. I think they're valid, and sometimes you need, to define it. It's just like, I used the analogy, if you're going to be stupid enough to walk into a room and just randomly pull your dick out, you deserve to get canceled. You deserve whatever fucking happens from that moment on because you were stupid enough to pull your dick out. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes we stayed in joking standards, but women have had enough. They're fucking sick and tired of men's bullshit. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. And you know what? It disgusts me how men were. I mean, it is, especially old school. And when you go all the way back, we were really sadistic asshole men. We really were.
Oh, listen,
we treated women like they were like they were possessions. They were seriously. The female body was was there whatever a man wanted to do. It's crazy. It makes us better guys, right? It makes it look bad, and it really is. It's really but. But
listen, you and I also know that this is the tough part because. For men, unfortunately, when we have to step out and call it out, it puts us into more of a conflict situation. Sure. You know what I mean? And especially when you're dealing with the quote unquote locker room mentality, it can be very challenging. Listen, I think this is a great topic that we should investigate further because I have to believe
we'll have in the future.
Right. We as men and as fathers, we need to call the shit out. It should not always just have to be women calling it out because let's be honest, most of these guys that are doing the shitty behavior, they don't fucking pay attention to women anyway. They're not going to take the women seriously and they're not going to really give a shit about a woman's perspective. But if other men step up and be like, yo, you're a fucking asshole and force them to confront it the old school way, maybe that will make a fucking difference. I think it's time. Yeah. You know what I mean? It's not easy.
I've always thought that a great reality show was not far from the Dog the Bounty Hunter, but a similar thing. But like somebody like that goes after men who've committed domestic violence. You know what I mean? On a really, I think
kind of like the old To Catch a Predator one where basically they're hiding in a hotel room and some skeezy guy shows up.
Well, yes and no. I'm talking about I'm talking about the woman says, "Look, I need you to take care of whoever, Joe, my husband, or whatever, Joe, my boyfriend."
You're talking like an old school intervention where
And somebody like Dog the Bounty Hunter sits down and says, you know what? I'm going to treat you the way you're treating them. You know what I mean? I'm going to treat you the same exact way. See how you like it. You know what I mean?
Like that guy Caesar who does like the dog whisperer, it'd be like the dick whisperer. It'd be like, all right.
I think it would be eye-opening, and I think it would be.
Listen, people would pay money just to see other people just get thrown under the bus for some shitty behavior. Because I know there are a lot of guys that feel like you and I do. Right.
Yes.
The
movies twist that now, which I love. I love that they do that sometimes now. They will twist it and they'll turn it the other way. Where the men think they're, but the women turn around and you know what I mean. And so I mean,
get one of those classic "I spit on your grave" moments.
Yes. Oh my God. So again, I'll come on another time, but we can.
Yeah. No, I definitely think that's conversations worth having. Listen, again, thank you so much, brother. I will. I will see you Friday morning, 9 a.m. Rochester Free Radio, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Mm-hmm. And until next time, we're a bunch of wolves, and we're out of here. We're again, like I said. See, right now,
All right.
Hunter's probably running because Daisy's going to go try and fuck him again.
Yeah. All right.
So, Ed, if you're still
All right,
listening,
take
yeah,
care.
that one was our fault.
You'll fucking will for you.
Yes. All right,
All
there
right.
it is. Turtle Blues, Deb Magoni. Until next
Yes.
time. We're out of here.
Yes. Bye.
I treat him like I want to. I never treat somebody like I should. Don't want to spoil him, you know. Well, now I once had me a daddy. Said he'd give me everything inside. Yes, it is. Well, yeah. Once had me a daddy, yeah. Said he'd give me everything inside. So I said, honey, I want the sunshine. He'll take the stars out of the day. Well, come on and give it to me, babe, 'cause I want it right now. I ain't the kind of woman to make your life a better be. No, yeah. Not the kind of woman, yeah, to make your life a better be. Well, but if you just wanna go out drinking, honey, why don't you invite me along, please? I'll be so good to you, babe, I promise. Take you home. I guess I'm just like a turtle. I'm underneath this haunted shed. yeah, I'm underneath this morning shell. But you know I'm very well protected. I know it's goddamn life to live. Don't call me baby, you can call me even. I've been called my twice and things are bad. Don't show me. Don't call me baby, you can call me even. I've been called my twice and things. Well, honey, things are bad. But you know I'm gonna take good care of Deborah, yeah. And ain't no one gonna ever talk me down. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Little Turtle Blues.